Yeah, those who have joined late, drop it into chat box. Okay, is the screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Pradeep. So let's have a quick recap of what we did in the previous class. We just discussed about, along with the example of tic-tac-toe, we discussed about the working with strings, right? We discussed what are the string literals. We took an example of how declaring a string using a single quote and how it can create a confusion when we are using in the string a single quote in the string like apostrophe s, right? And how to avoid those ambiguities using double quotes. And also we looked examples with respect to escape characters, how escape characters come handy while using these special characters, right? So we saw a few escape character examples like single quote, double quote, tab, new line, and backslash, right? Then raw string, what is the usage of raw string? We took an example of that. Then multi-line string with triple quote, which is used to comment uh, multiple lines or a paragraph in a program. Then we also have multi-line comments, right? Multi-line comments which used to comment the multiple lines or a paragraph in the same code, right? And multiple line strings with triple quote is actually used to define a string with any spaces or new line characters, but basically multiple lines, right? Single quote and double quote. Please note the difference here. Then we also talked about the no, we end up here and we also talked about the tic-tac-toe problem. Uh, wherein we had a look of how can we uh, design a tic-tac-toe problem in the real time and also how to make the players play in the real time. All right. So with this, today's focus will be the strings, how indexing, slicing can be done in the strings, and also other operations. What are the different types of methods in the strings that we have? Uh, if you can recall, we discussed few methods in the lists as well as in dictionaries, right? So here in today's lecture, main area of focus will be what are the different types of methods only with respect to strings. So today's session will be very important as part of understanding what all operations that we can do with the strings, only with the strings. But there are few aspects which are almost similar to what we have learned earlier in the lists as well as in the dictionaries. So, but today's session it will be all about strings and its different operations and different methods, morely different methods. So, before starting off with the different methods that we have in the string, let's understand what is the basic indexing and the slicing that we can do with the string. So, if you can recall with your good memory that we discussed a example wherein we declared a string and we also retrieve a character from that string, right? So the same example that is spam is equal to hello world. We initialized this variable spam with a string which has these two words hello world and a special character space as well as a exclamation mark. So this was our string, and we were able to retrieve every single character. We can retrieve every single character out of the string using indexing, which we have already seen in the lists, right? So similarly, it is same in the string as well. So there are few aspects which are almost similar to what we have learned earlier in the string, in the lists, which also applicable in the string here, right? So there's not much difference. For example, again, if you can recall, we did slicing, right? So the same way what we did slicing in the lists, same can be done in the strings also. So when we have this string hello world, and as you can see, we are trying to slice this string here, right from the 0 to 5. So by now, I think you are already aware with what these notations mean, right? So 0 means that we'll be starting our slicing process from the index 0 and so on up till index 5. Once we reach the index 5, we are going to end our slicing process. So right from here, if you can see from 0 index so on up till 5. So when it encounters 5, it exits the or it terminates the slicing, and whatever it has retained, that will be put at the output. So that's why we are able to get this hello only, which is a sliced set of characters. You can say, I will not mention a word, but a set of characters from the main string, that is hello world here, right? So it is exactly similar to what we have done in the lists, right? So another example is that spam 6 colon, and after colon, as you can see, there is nothing, right? There is not. It's absolutely blank. So that means that you have to start the slicing from the index 6, so on up till the end. End. There is no specific index wherein we have to end. There is not they have not mentioned anything. So that means whatever the string length is, that complete, by default, that complete length becomes our ending length, right? The ending index. So spam 6 and colon blank, so that will start from the index 6 and end till whatever the actual end is. And exactly the opposite of it is the spam, then nothing is here but just colon 5, spam colon 5. That means start from the start, whatever that index is. It can be 0 or 1 or 5, whatever it is. Start from the basic, very start, and slice till the index 5, right? So that will result in the same, which is 0 to 5 or blank to 5. It means the same, it will be the same result. So let's not waste much time in it, because they are almost similar to what are the lists that we have encountered in the previous chapter, right? Similarly, uh, how we did in the slicing and indexing in the lists, also in and not in operators in the list are almost similar to what we do here in not and not in operators in strings, right? So the operation of in and not in remains same in strings as well as lists, right? So there is not much difference, as you can see here. Instead of just passing a list, we have passed a string, and it is successfully able to compare whether this particular set of characters, or you can say substring, this string, is present in the main string or not, right? So if it is there, it returns true. If it's not, it's false. Simple as that, right? But the very important thing here is the useful string methods, right? So there are many types of methods, because uh, unlike lists, in the list we have few operations which are very restricted, right? We cannot perform much of operations with respect to lists, right? Because we don't have list every time, but we do have strings or words or characters every time, right? So there are a lot of examples of a string. For example, just a single letter, let's say letter A, right? A character A, even even though if it is just a character, it is a string, right? It is a string. Or let's say a word, let's say a word called apple. So apple, just it is just a word, but still it is a string again. Or you consider a message that apple a day keeps a doctor away, right? So that's a single statement. That's one statement, but that one statement is again a string. So let it be one character or one word or one full statement. Those things are all strings. So since we have so many types of strings, we have many types of methods to handle the strings as well, right? So if you can recall, can anybody name few methods that we have learned in the lists? Please drop it in the chat box. Let me see how many of you can answer, because we have already done it in the I. We have already you have completed your I. You have prepared for your I. So can anybody recall what are the different types of methods that we have learned when we had talked about the lists or dictionaries? You can consider both, or tuples also, since tuples are also works on the same methods of list. But mostly we discussed about different methods of lists, right? So can anybody name few different methods that we have learned in the lists? Yeah, please drop it in the chat box. Before we discuss the different types of methods that we have in the strings, yes, Yogita mentioned that amend and insert. Very good. So amend method or insert method in the list we discussed, right? Wherein just to revise you, amend, what amend does it, it simply adds whatever you want to add in the list, it simply adds in the end of the list. But opposite to it, insert helps us or gives us the flexibility to add whatever the new element or new item that you want to add in the list wherever you want, right, irrespective of the last item or first item. Insert can help us insert wherever in the list, provided you give the index as the input. Very good. So many people index, append, okay, pop, fine. Sort, very good. Vaishnavi says sort. Vaishnavi Kiver says copy and clear, okay. Remove, Vivas says remove method, yes. So these were few popular methods that we have discussed, right, in the lists. So these methods also are there in the strings, but along with them, there are many different types of methods that we are going to learn in the strings. The reason being, as I said just now, there can be many different types of strings, right? Like I said, a character can also be a string, a word can also be a string, a statement can also be a string. But in case of lists, we have a very, very few basic types of lists. There's not much variety of lists, right? So that is the reason we have many different ways to handle those strings, and that's why for that we have many different methods to operate on them. So let's have a deep dive into what are the different types of methods that we can uh, make use of in order to handle these strings. Right. So first things, starting off with very basic. Although these methods are named, these are the inbuilt methods. These methods are named in such a way that they are self-explanatory. But the very important aspect here is to identify what are the differences that they have, right? So, upper and is upper, they might mean the same to you, but how is it different, right? Example here, you can easily identify what is a upper method, what is a lower method. But what is the difference between an upper method and is upper method, or what is the difference between a lower method or is lower method, right? So here is where you have to focus more or understand, or you know, keep your senses open to understand what are these minor differences. Anyways, so as you must have already guessed, what is this upper? Upper method helps us to make the text into the uppercase letters, right? So if you are having a string stored in a particular variable, so you have to just make use of that variable, calling that variable with the dot operator and the how do we invoke a method, the variable name, the dot operator, and the name of the method, right? So what it will do is whatever the content is stored in that variable, it will operate on that content to do whatever that method does. For example, if the method is upper, the content will be updated to all the uppercase letters text. Similarly, for the lower, it will uh, reduce, or you can say change the format of the text to all the lowercase letters, right? So let the original string has the combination of uppercase and lowercase, but the method will convert all the text into uppercase if it is the upper method. If it is the lower method will convert all the current text that is available in the variable to all the lowercase letters, right? So that is the simple difference of what is the upper and lower. Now, what is upper and is lower, right? So is upper and is lower helps us to identify whether the content which is there in the variable, is that content is lower or is that content is upper. So we are basically checking. So the difference lies here. Now what is the difference? Difference is in the previous method, that is lower and upper methods, we are making the text edit or making the change in the text, that is we are converting it to the lower case or we are converting it to the upper case. But here in the is lower and is upper, we are not converting, instead we are checking, right? We are checking whether the text which is there in the variable is upper or is lower. So that is the only difference. And how do we check it? Simple, same again, the name of the variable, dot operator, and the name of the method. then it will check whether that string is whether is it is lower or is upper, right, and so on. So here are a few highlighted examples. As you can see, if it is lower, since you can see that our main example, not all the letters are lower. We have just one character which is one uppercase letter. So since not all the characters here are in lowercase letter, it will throw us the error that it's false. It's not an error, but it will give you output that it is false, right? And similarly, not all the letters are here in uppercase, so it will again show you false. But if you say hello is upper, right? You are mentioning, you are giving, instead of giving a variable, you are directly giving a string here itself, right? Substituting a string itself directly. That is this particular string is upper? You are checking, you are asking the Python ideally that whether this string is upper. And as you can see here, all the characters here are in upper. That's why it will return true as the Boolean value. Now the twist is here that you have few set of characters which are the combination of alphabets and numericals, right? So we have alphabets like ABC and the numericals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are checking whether all are is lower. Now the question arises: how can we say that the number 1, 2, 3, and these are uppercase or lowercase, right? So by default, these methods is upper, is lower, or up, or just upper or lower. These methods, they by default ignores the text which is in the numerical format. So they don't process the numericals. They simply process the characters, right? So when we have the characters like alphabets like ABC, it will only check those ABC. So as you can see here, we have this ABC only characters here, and all three are in lowercase. So when we ask that whether it is in lowercase, it will give you the result as true, right? And when you compare the only numbers is in lowercase, it will give you false, because as you can see, it is by default it is considering that there is no character here, and only there are numbers. And similarly, if you want to, another question would be in your mind that whether if it is resulting into false for checking whether it is lower or not, then it might be a upper. It might be considering this number as upper, but that is also not the case. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This whole, I mean, you can say numericals. These numbers, they are not even upper. They are not even lower. So that is the way the Python handles these alphabets and numericals, and also alphanumericals. Uh, we can say strings, right? There's one important aspect of these methods is that whenever you are making use of these methods, the Python by default makes the whatever the last method which is called, that method will be applicable for the on the string, right? For example, let's say we have this string which we are directly giving as the input or comparing. We are directly comparing whether that hello is upper. Sorry, this is just the upper which you have seen earlier, right? But here we have only one method that we are using, right? So whatever the text is, it is getting converted into the type of the method that we are calling. That is here, in this case, it is upper. So this hello, this string is getting converted to all the uppercase. Fair enough. But now, as you can see here, hello, the string dot upper and again dot lower. So as you can see, we are calling two methods here, two different methods, that is upper also and lower also. But what is exactly happening here is this string hello is first getting converted into all the uppercase letters. But since the last executed method or the latest executed method was the lower, hence all the converted uppercases letters gets converted again back to the lowercase letters. That's why you can see that even though we had one capital letter H in the string, original string, but we have all the letters converted into the lower string, because simple reason is because all were first converted into upper, and then all were again back converted into the lower. So the point here is whatever the latest or the last method will be having the updated value. right? So even if there is, irrespective of the number of methods or number of times you call the methods, the last executed will be the updated uh, string. Fine. So here, as you can see, same string. First it is converted into the upper, then lower, and then again upper, and hence we have all the letters at upper. Now, one beautiful example here is the combination of this lower and is lower, right? So this is again very important. You can see here, all the characters in the string is hello are in capital letter, and the method that we are calling is lower. So what is happening is all these capital letters HELLO are getting converted into the lower, and then this converted text or the converted string, you can say, is checked whether this is lower or not, right? So since we have converted this all text into the lower, and we are checking whether this is lower or not, definitely we'll be having the values true, right? Because they all were converted into true. So that is the reason when we compare this capital letter hello also, and you making use of the lower and checking whether is lower, it gives us true, right? So fair enough. Simple to understand. These are the simple methods. The point here is to make you understand what are the minute differences of these types of methods and how to use these methods in what ways, like the number of times or where exactly in during the process, first or last, which method will be executed, and so on. So these are the minor differences that you have to keep in mind. Otherwise, uh, methods are simple to understand, and you know what exactly that method does, right? Because the nomenclature is in such a way that they are self-explanatory. Okay, so moving ahead, we have some methods which are is x, right? Is x string method. Now, what is this? Is x? Is x is the replacement for all the different types of method again, right? So, for example, how we did is lower, is upper. Scroll on. Okay. So is x here? X means that x can be replaced with different types of methods, right? How we have is lower and is upper. We can have instead of those, we can have different other methods that we have in the strings. There are many methods in the strings. Uh, we can do there are many operations with the strings, and that is the only reason we have different methods which can be used to handle the strings, right? So just to give out few of them, few examples, as you can see here highlighted, that is alpha. So as the name suggests, it is going to check whether that particular string is all alphabets or not, right? So it returns true if all the content, that is the string, are alphabets, right? Provided they are not blank, right? So blank, we cannot define anything on the blank, whether it is alphabet or a number or whatever, because blank is just a null value, or you can say a special character. And another method is alnum. Alnum is alpha numerical. So is alnum, what it does, it returns true if our string is a combination of alphabets as well as numbers. So for example, if you can recall this example, it contains the alphabets as well as numbers. So when we give this string to is alnum, then it is definitely going to give us the output as true, because this string does contain alphabets as well as numbers, right? Is decimal, again, if the it returns true if the string consists of a numbers characters, right? A numerical characters, that is in the form of 1 2 3 or anything which has numbers, right, or decimals, you can say. Again, is space. So basically, it checks whether the character or the strings set of characters or the string has the spaces or tabs or new lines in present in that. Right. Again, please note that it doesn't compare the blank. That is just the blank string. It will not compare the blank string. Right. There has to be either space it has to be a tab or there has to be a new line, right? So that's what a space means. There has to be some kind of space, right? A tab is also kind of a space. A space is also a kind of space. Hope you know the difference between a space and a tab, right? If you don't know, please go and go check out the note. You go to the notepad, hit space, and at the same time hit tab. You see the difference. You'll get to know. Right? So, is space method just checks whether is there any type of space present. It can be a simple space or a tab space or a new line, but it doesn't check for the blank string. Like, right? Fine. Is title. Again, this is another important method which actually returns true if the string consists of the words that begin with the uppercase. Because how our titles are defined? Basically, whenever, for example, when you write a report, or anything, let's say seminar report or anything. So, or let's say lab experiment in the journal, right? You mention a title. So whenever we mention a title, the first letter is always the capital letter, right? It's the uppercase letter, and followed by lowercase. So that defines a title. So this method helps us to identify whether the string that we have given is that string is a title or not, right? So if you can recall the previous example that hello world, wherein H was capital, right? Only the H was capital. So in that case, if we check whether hello world with the H capital is title, then definitely this method is going to return us true value, right? So these are few of the examples which uh, demonstrated here, but not so special one. I mean, you can clearly understand these are very easy one. So is alpha? Yes, these all are alpha. Is alpha again false because we have numbers here? Is alnum? Yes, because we have alphabets as well as numbers. Hello dot is alnum true. Why? Because it does have alphabets, right? It doesn't have numbers, but it does have alphabets. 1 to 3 is decimal. Yes, because decimal is nothing but a numbers 1 to 3, and it is there present in the string, so it will return true. Then we have a huge space here, and then is space? Yes, true. It can be combination of spaces, or it can be just one tab space, right? Whatever it can be, but it does have space, and it's not a null string. Is this title case? Yes. Why? Because we have every letter capital here. Is this title case 1 to 3? Yes. Again, why? Because again, the alphabets that we have here, they all are satisfying the condition of checking whether they are title. So this whole thing is title is and 1 to 3 is just a number. So it ignores that and it only considers these alphabets, and hence it returns true. So this is not title case. Why? Because simple reason is this not in the n in not is not in capital, right? It's not in a capital letter n. So that is the reason it doesn't satisfy the condition of being a title, and hence it returns false. Right. So this is not title case either. Can anybody tell me why? This example specifically. This is not title case either. It's a simple example. I hope people will be successfully identifying it. But I want you to understand this. Anybody, please unmute your mic and tell me. Please don't type in the chat box. Typing first takes time, and second thing, I have to go to the chat box and see. So instead, you can just unmute it and tell me the reason why this is not title case either is false.
The word not is in capital letter.
Very good. Let me. Yeah, please. Who was this? I
Yes, sir. Sanket
Excuse
Patel.
me, Sanket, very good. So rightly pointed out by Sanket that this is not title case is false is right, because in the letter in the word not, as you can see, though the first letter is capital, the remaining letters are not capital, not small letters, because in order to satisfy the condition of being a title, in the title only the first letter has to be in capital, others need not be in the capital. right? So that's why the output that we get here is false. And also, if you uh, provoke or call the method upper is upper, let's say if you call is upper, in that case also it would have written false, because though this not is in all capital all upper, but others are not in the upper, right? Others in the other words, there are few lowercase letters also. So that was a simple difference of these strings, the type of methods with these, right? So I hope the up till here the things are clear, pretty much simple enough to understand, right? You can just simply understand in one go, but provided the important factor here is to consider the difference between these uh, similar sounding methods, I would say, right? So please note the differences here, and whatever we discuss, make a note of these things. Okay, so I can see when we started the class, the strength was 50 and now 42. So let me see who all have left. Yeah, meanwhile, anybody having any doubt so far, whatever we have discussed, before proceeding there? Few people think that they are smart enough that they can put the attendance and they can just simply leave from the meeting room and they'll get the attendance for the day. So we have to come up with the alternatives. Okay. Yeah. Anybody having any doubts? Viva says no doubts. Okay. Anybody having any kind of doubts? Because these methods are very important and these are very handy when we're really going to write a program, full-fledged program in Python. So when you play with these strings, these are very important. And as we have projects or we have simple projects as a part of our curriculum and this particular subject, because we don't have lab for it. So we will be designing a few small programs, few project level programs. So in those, while doing those programs, you have to have this well hold on these types of methods, because these methods are inbuilt, ready-made, and you have to just make use of it. You just need to know the knowledge of when to use this method and how to use it, right? Because they are just simply available already in the Python to just incorporate them into your program to make the things happen. So as long as you are not able to handle with these methods, as long as you don't know about these methods and don't know how to make use of it, programming will be a little difficult for you, and maybe you have to a lot of work you have to do it manually, whereas it can be done, you know, with the making use of these inbuilt functions, inbuilt methods. Fine. So there are no doubts. Let's move ahead and let's go to discuss a program, a simple program to validate the input. Right? So validating input, as you must have already aware, there are many lot of applications wherein we have to validate the data. Right? For example, when you are entering a particular website, it asks for the credentials. So those credentials has to be validated. Then when you are asking for a typical format of a text, best example can be a email ID. So email ID has a particular format, right? So whether that input is exactly what is expected, whether that input is in the expected format or not. So that has to be validated. Another example can be your USN, right? Your USN has a particular format. So it is designed in such a way that every particular number or every particular character there has a meaning to that. So whether you are putting that USN your USN into the proper format or no, right? So validating that as well can be another example. So then likewise, there are many different examples which wherein uh, validating the input is very compulsory and very uh, important. So we do have few basic methods available for that, which helps us to identify whether the validation or the input which you are giving is validate input or not. So in order to understand that, let's have two loops here. We have two loops here, which are basically infinite loops, right? Why infinite? Because we are just talking with the user in infinite way. I mean, as long as the user input gives the proper input, we are going to continuously prompt some message to the user saying that, you know, that whatever the changes has to be done. For a simple example, if I have to give, if you have been to ATM and you have asked to when you enter the pin, and let's say if you enter the pin wrong, right? So by the time, I mean, till the time you enter the right pin or password for your ATM, the ATM machine going to continuously give you the pop-ups that pin is wrong or pin is wrong, right? So there is a different aspect that if you exceed the number of attempts, definitely your card get blocked. But till that time, you get the this repeated this thing, right? Message or the prompt from the machine that the input is wrong or whatever your input is doesn't match with your profile, right? So that is the reason we are putting the infinite loop here, simple example. So not now the question is what are we validating? So here we have two cases wherein we are checking the age of a person and checking whether that particular age is in proper format or not. Right? That's one example. And another is we are along with the age we are also checking the password that that user enters, right? That particular user enters. Now that password has to be the alphanumerical. So we are making the user, uh, you know, understand that the password that what you are going to enter has to be in the form of a alphabets as well as numericals. So that password should has the alphabets, that is characters also, and as well as numbers also, right? So as you can see here that we ask the user first to enter the age, we take that input and we check whether if that age is a decimal or no. Why decimal? Because we just want the age in numbers, right? We want the age in decimals. For example, whatever the age is 25, 30, 90, right? We don't want in numbers 20 TWENTY 20 FI VE5. Nobody asks age in characters, right? We never write age in words. We write age in numbers mostly. So that is the reason we are checking the method that is that particular age is in decimal or not. So if that is in age, well and good. If it is not, then break it and print that please enter a number for your age. And again, the while loop starts from here, right? So the point here is unless till the point the user enters the age, which is in the numerical format, up till that time, the validation happens, and if the input which has been entered by the user, if it's not a decimal, if I when I say not decimal, it can be only characters also, that is only alphabets, or combination of alphabets and numbers also. Both are non-decimals, right? A decimal means just a number. So when the user enters proper number as a age, it will get accepted and the loop will automatically gets terminated, it breaks, and the next loop executes, which is the checking of or validating of the password. Now what it does, it just simply prints the statement that select a new password, and in bracket we are giving a hint to the user that letters and numbers only, right? So whatever the input the user enters, we are storing into the variable called password. Now there will be few buddhijeevis who will be ignoring this, hint that we have given, that is letters and numbers only, and again entering whatever they want to enter, right? For example, when you are supposed to ask your, ask to upload your answer script with a proper format, that is nothing but your USN, right? It has been asked to enter in your USN wise subject code underscore USN. So subject code, okay, many people write it and underscore USN. But many people they write it into the uppercase letter or small case letter. That is different. Some people write it USN then underscore then subject code. So though there will be hint or the message will be given to you saying that this is the format, but still there are few exceptional cases wherein they do errors. So for that we have another method, that is checking whether is alphanumerical or no, right? So if password dot is alnum, what it does it is simply going to check whether the input given by the user is alphanumerical or not. That means whether the password entered by the user contains the number as well as the alphabets also or no, right? Because simply entering the numbers in the password is also not a good idea, and simply entering the characters or the alphabets in the as a password is also not a good idea. That you might have seen when you open an account for a bank and you apply for internet banking and you have credentials with you for your online uh, you know login, then they prefer you to create a password in such a way that it is a combination of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and at least one special characters, right? With minimum length, maybe six length or 7, 8, and so on, like, and maximum maybe 16 or 25, like that. So that is a different example, and password creating that kind of password might be a little, validating that type of passwords will be a little more difficult. But here we just have two conditions, that the password the user going to create should have letters and numbers, right? So if as long as it has numbers as and letters, it is going to accept it and break it here, and if it is not in the alphabet, it is going to print a message to the user that passwords can only have letters and numbers, right? So simple as that. The program is very simple to understand. Let's see how the output would look like. So let's say the user enters 42 in words as the age. The program prompts the please enter a number for your age. And when the user enters the number, it simply terminates the previous infinite loop for the age, goes into the next loop, next while loop, that is the password loop, right? And prompts the user to select a password with the letters and numbers in it. And then when the user enters something which is not a number as well as a letter, for example, your exclamation mark, so it again shows that password can only have letters and numbers. And when it enters correctly, it will give you the, it will be accepted. That password will be accepted. So these are the different methods which we have. Uh, Along with that, there are a few more. For example, starts with, ends with. So few more, maybe 4 or 5 more methods to understand. But since we have already lapsed the time, we'll stop here. But I would like you to go through these notes, go through these slides and prepare notes for it, right? And be ready because that will be probably your second assignment. So better to start early. So if there are your doubts, please make a note of those doubts and we shall clear those doubts in the next session as we have already lapsed the time. Thanks for joining in. Thank you. And you can leave the meeting room.